Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to day 21 of albums that are 50 years old in 2023. That's right, we are celebrating the anniversaries, 50 years, anniversaries and birthdays, whatever you want to call it, of some great albums that were released in 1973. We've picked out our 31 favorites. Each day here in January, we're given another pick till we get all the way to day 31, which will be our last. No real order for mine. They're just kind of thrown out there each and every day. I'll have some honorable mentions at the last day of the month as well. A bonus episode on the 31st of January. Today, my pick was originally released March 1st, 1973. It was the 8th studio album from this band at that point in time. Crazy to think about. They had 8 albums already. It's just kind of mind-boggling. Produced at EMI Studios in London, England. For the Harvest label as well as Capitol, depending on where you were, produced by the band. Yes, indeedy, I'm talking about Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, one of the landmark albums in rock history, one of the most legendary albums in rock history. Arguably, depending on who you talk to, the greatest album from this band. Personally, it's not my absolute favorite. Is it a top 3 or 4? Yeah, for sure. I generally lean towards Animals and I think Wish You Were Here. Generally speaking, Dark Side comes in number 3 or 4, depending on how I feel about this or metal at the time. But this is a classic, right? Of course, you got Roger Waters on bass guitar, vocals, and some other effects and things like that. David Gilmour on vocals and guitars and assorted effects and things. Nick Mason on drums, percussion, effects and things. And Richard Wright on Hammond organ, Farfisa organ, piano, electric piano, effects and things, as well as some vocals as well. So a classic. One of the great rock productions of all time. Of course, you have Alan Parsons, who engineered on this album, which is very noteworthy as well. You also had Dick Parry on saxophone in a few spots. Claire Torrey, of course, did some vocals on The Great Gig in the Sky. You got Doris Troy on backing vocals, Leslie Duncan backing vocals, Liza Strike on backing vocals, and Barry St. John backing vocals. Very lush, amazingly produced, exceptionally musical album. Right, it's got all sorts of great tracks. Speak to Me. This album just like breathes. Right, of course, the second track is called "Breathe in the Air," but this whole album just kind of breathes and has like a life of its own. It bubbles, it boils, it breathes, it rocks, it soothes, it soars, all sorts of things. On the Run, timeless classic song. The Great Gig in the Sky, absolutely gorgeous, just a stunning track. You got Money, right, kind of funky rocker. You got the Soaring, Us and Them, what a great vocal on that. Any Color You Like, Brain Damage, right, awesome Brain Damage, and Eclipse, right. It's spacey. It's like, is this prog? I don't know. Is it art rock? I don't know. Is it just adventurous rock? For sure. Is it pop? Sure. Is it space rock? Sure. It's like all these things kind of like blended into one. Great guitar work from Gilmour on here. You got fantastic vocals from all the guys. Great rhythms, excellent keyboards. Who is there anybody who like watches this channel who doesn't own Dark Side of the Moon? Is there anybody who watches this channel who's never heard Dark Side of the Moon? I highly doubt it. And if there is, I would love to hear from you in the comments below as to why, regardless of how old you are, why you've never, forget about purchasing it, right? Why you've never listened to this album before. It's just, again, it's not my favorite Pink Floyd album, but this is like mandatory, like classic rock. This is mandatory rock of the last 15 years. It's one of the most heralded albums of all time. It sold a gazillion copies. Let's talk about all that stuff, right? So it's a number 1 U.S. billboarding album chart, Billboard album charting album. Number 2 in the UK. This was a top 3 in Australia, Austria, Canada, Finland, Netherlands, Germany, Italy, Norway, Spain, US, and the UK. Okay, as far as like, and that was original. That was when it first came out that year. Okay, year end, it did all sorts of, just everywhere you look, it charted as far as certifications and sales. God, where do you want to start here? In the U.S., 15 million copies, 15 times platinum. In the UK, 15 times platinum in the UK. Of course, they have a different way of measuring, so that's 4.5 million album sales. I mean, everywhere else, this is a platinum. New Zealand, 16 times platinum. Italy, 6 times platinum. Germany, 2 times platinum. Canada, 2 times platinum. Actually, 5 times platinum in Canada. 2 times diamond, sorry. So these are all sorts of different certifications here. So we're up to diamond status. 2 million copies in Canada. Austria, 2 times platinum. Australia, 14 times platinum. Argentina, double platinum. I mean, just no matter where you turn, this has been a just phenomenal seller, and one of those albums that, like, I mean, you've heard the stories over the years. In the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s, all of a sudden, Dark Side of the Moon winds up being like in the top 100 again here at Billboard charts in the U.S. So it's one of those albums that just keeps creeping back and continually selling. You have various reissues, it continues to sell. So like the phenomenon that is Dark Side of the Moon just seems to transcend time, right? It was released 50 years ago, but this album still sells like tons of copies every year. That there's like a handful of albums that have been released in like music history that just continually just keep selling and keep charting. And it's just, very few ever do that. Dark Side of the Moon has always done that. So, it's a classic for a reason. So, it had to be on my list for 1973, right? We're going to celebrate the anniversary of all these great albums this month. So, Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Let us know what you think of Dark Side down in the comments below, as well as list your pick for day 21 here as we work our way all the way to the 31st of January before, of course, we move on to 1983. Then we're going to go 40 years, right? We're going to celebrate those albums that are 40 years. We're starting that February 1st. So lots to do over the next couple of months. So thanks, everybody, for watching. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do investigate down below the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, as well as our merch page where you can get all sorts of great Sea of Tranquility t-shirts and hoodies. We got pullover hoodies, zip-up hoodies, hats and caps, all sorts of designs, all sorts of cool stuff. So go check that out down below as well. Spend some of that leftover Christmas money you might have. And we'll see you real soon. Here are more stuff on the channel, right? Stay tuned. We've got coming up tomorrow. We have album homework assignment. Pat Benatar is the assignment. No, not album homework assignment. Ranking the albums. Sorry, we don't do that on Sundays anymore. Ranking the albums is Pat Benatar. We're going to go through, Jamie Laszlo and myself are going to go through the whole catalog and rank them as we like them. So that's coming up tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And lots more here on the channel. I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you here real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.